Okay.
Committee down.
I have to pull everything up on my new computer, not my new computer, but the other one, because for some reason, the one I had set up was not. Let's see.
Chloe's getting ready to log in now.
Perfect. We'll give him just a minute. And did Dr. Rodriguez indicate he was coming to this or no?
I have not seen Dr. Rodriguez. He's been tied up in meetings, so I don't know.
I'll text him really quick.
Actually,
Yeah,
I'll go down to the
phone's in
office.
the other room.
I will go down to the office right quick.
Well, thanks, Liz. So Elizabeth, I looked at this document, she's got something in the wrong place. I don't know if you saw that.
I have not. Let me
But it's
see.
easy, it's an easy fix.
Pardon?
It'll be an easy fix. She just put the reasonable progress, et cetera, under instructional services in like the
Oh, okay.
instructional leadership rather than student achievement.
Got it.
It's 11:31, but I'm going to wait till she gets back to start.
He is in another meeting, so let me send him.
Just if someone can text him, because my phone's in the other room.
Yep,
just
that's what I'm doing.
date. Yep. He doesn't need to join. Just send us a date.
Right.
And then there is, I'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and get this started. It's 11:32. I don't think we have I guess we can do the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's do that really quickly. Elizabeth, you ready to join me in the pledge?
Yes, ma'am. Do you want me to say it over Zoom?
Yeah,
'Cause
you say it
last
this time.
time. Okay,
Sounds
last
good.
time I felt like it garbled things, so I muted myself.
All right, well, it's your turn. All right, here we go. So the meeting's called to
All right.
order, the specially called ad hoc results committee meeting. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would all join me.
right.
Elizabeth, here we go.
Let's go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Awesome. We just need a motion to approve the agenda. So Ms. Hay, if you wouldn't mind.
I motion to approve the agenda for October 2nd of 2023.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we have any public comments, Ms. Cushenberry?
No, ma'am.
All right.
Hold on.
yeah.
Motion by Elizabeth. Come on. See if Chloe jumped on.
Haven't seen her yet.
No public comment.
Right.
right.
As far as the discussion of the superintendent evaluation, Robin, there is one thing we need to change.
Okay, hold on. Let me pull it up so you can show me what I'm changing.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you go to E, instructional leadership,
A, B, C, D, E.
we're going to leave that. We don't need the highlighted things are actually supposed to go under academic achievement, which is down below under the, I forget what they call it.
You want it to go here,
Correct.
right there?
Yes. So that would
Okay.
be regression. Then, as we move up, and then the fourth one there would be reasonable progress. So
Okay.
just transfer those down there.
So I'm going to move these.
Yep.
All right, let me make sure I put it. So the other thing I was asking, what do we do with this? 85% 2022.
Well, let's see. So,
Can you see what I'm talking about?
yeah, I don't know where the 85 comes from because what I see there is 40.
Now, yeah, these numbers, I've changed these to correlate because I took out pandemic. So the total score now has changed
Gotcha.
because I changed, taking
Got
the,
rid of the pandemic ones.
yes. So this is the correct number for this evaluation. So I think I think this should just come off now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Because it should be the weight of that whole section should be 45%.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah,
So
I
this,
think we're all seeing that the same.
yeah, so this would go away. And the other thing I was questioning, come on, it won't come off. Move. While I'm moving. This right here, measurable components, reevaluate based on impact. So do we want to keep?
No, that should go. That should have gone with the pandemic stuff. I missed that. I'm sorry.
No, well, and I just want, because of the pandemic, are we reevaluating this differently? The pandemic has no bearing on it, is what we're saying.
Correct.
Okay, so that will go away too. And the last thing that I had questioned, so things right here, these, okay, this is where the 85% 2022 came in.
Yeah, I don't know what that came from.
So, the professional practice, we had adjusted the professional practice. They had changed, I'm stuttering, sorry. Let me go back up here. Professional community. Again, you both evaluations.
Helena, thank you.
All right, Dr. R has not answered my text yet.
So Robin, what's the latest possible date that we can do is about hand out the evaluation to board members, get it back in time? Do you know, to because he said something about the first week in November. I haven't looked at his contract. I know that the 31st is Tuesday, and we have that work session on the
His contract says until the end of October unless mutually agreed upon. So the board can agree on doing it the first week in November.
Yeah, I think because the problem is, I don't know if the first week in November buys us anything. He's going to be very pressed on the referendum.
Yes.
But I don't think it would be wise, although I'm open to feedback on this one. My initial take on is it wouldn't be wise to postpone his evaluation until after the referendum. Mr. Campbell or Ms. Hay, do you have any thoughts?
And what I thought, or what I was picking up on from him in the last meeting, what I was picking up from Dr. Rodriguez was possibly looking at Monday the 30th, because I think we had all said no to Halloween.
Correct.
And then there was like a flirting with November 1st, but then there were hesitations he voiced. So I was under the understanding we were getting on this morning to talk about whether the 30th worked with his schedule, because he said he had other things he needed to look at.
Yes.
And he's concerned, obviously, about consolidating all of his information to present us with. And because of the referendum, as the later date is obviously better for him to compile that information. So
And I agree. Go ahead. I was thinking it's the 30th.
Yeah, I think
obviously we have no insight into his schedule.
Well, and what we'll have to do is that we will have the I mean, there's always a possibility. What we do traditionally is we have an executive session where we go over and review his evaluation in executive session. We could, in theory, do that on the 27th, which is the Friday before the work session.
My only concern with that is looking at my calendar, it's unclear at the moment whether I'm going to be able to be at the 27th, and I'd really like to be a part, since I'm a newbie, of that executive session that we do.
Would you be there on the 30th?
Yes, absolutely.
Because what we'll have to do is we'll have to call a special executive session then on the 30th, right, Robin?
Correct.
Okay.
Let
And
me
then
run down at the end of the hall right quick to confirm, because he's in a staff meeting while you all talk, because he's not answering the phone. And I will confirm that he was looking at the 30th or what his proposed time is, okay?
okay, sounds good.
And the only thing, I believe our work session as it stands right now is scheduled for 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on October 27th.
Yeah.
I am completely unavailable before 1 p.m. is what is going to happen that day. So if we could do that discussion post like 1:30, just to give me a buffer, I will be able to be there. I just don't want it. I know sometimes when we do the work sessions, so much gets done earlier and we stop short. And I would hate for that to happen and for me to not be a part of that.
And I kind of like the idea of doing it with the work session, because I'm hoping, I don't think, and Mr. Campbell, I don't know if you they haven't had the agenda setting for the work session yet, I'm pretty sure.
No, it's next Monday.
Because
Okay, so maybe we could add it for, 1:30 or after.
so Robin, this is what I'm thinking.
There is a lot for this work session.
What's on
So,
there?
I mean, I can't run it off, but looking at the future topics list, most of the stuff that's on our future topics is for work session.
I know.
So,
Well, let me throw this out there. What if we did, I don't know, maybe we stick it with the 30th, but it's
I mean, we can
completely
do
up
it,
to you, Ingrid.
we can schedule it for later in the afternoon if that's what you're suggesting.
Yes, that's what I was asking. I will not be able to be in that work session until at least I'm booked solid until 1. So that's why I was suggesting anytime after 1:30. But if there's so much, I don't want people to be drained by the time we get to this item.
Well, and my thing is, so here's what I'm thinking. Hey, I'm going to be gone. I'll be there early for the work session, and then I'm going to Zoom the rest because I'm driving out of town. So I'm just going to drive and Zoom. So I don't mind Zooming the executive session. The other thing is, as far as what I'm hoping they're going to put on the agenda setting is a discussion about our results policy section and what they want to do with this committee, because I feel like until they tell us, until we have a little more guidance on what they expect, and we're already into October with this year. So what I'm thinking is if we can kind of get the results policy discussion that we've been talking about for about 4 months now on this October, it would kind of fit in nicely. But either way, whatever else we have going on, I think we can do it in the afternoon, because it's not something that takes a lot of mental energy. I mean, there's going to be a lot of discussion, but we'll already have done the work. So it's just a review.
Molly just saw Dr. R and he said the 30th is good.
Oh,
Okay,
perfect.
well,
Did he have a time frame or no?
We usually do it in the evening times. We start around 4, so that way 4 or 5. So it's usually done in the evening time.
Yeah. So I'm fine. Let's just do it on the 30th, because it sounds like we're going to have a busy work session. And then what do we give out the book like a week in advance? Is that right?
Yes, when he has it prepared, then we give it out in a week along with the document, and then ask for it to be, then we collect it back.
Okay.
We get it back at the executive session, because most of the time you use your notes and stuff that's in the book, and then we collect the book after the meeting.
All right. So we're going to set Dr. Rodriguez's evaluation on October 30th. We'll figure out the exact date. Maybe he can tell us before Tuesday, and I will just announce that in part of my report. That we'll get his book, and we'll have a sense of when we'll get that. I don't mind getting it on I could pick it up on the 27th and look at it over the weekend. It doesn't bother me, but I know some people might want more time with it.
What we would have to do, what we do is we need to get the results back, because then you, myself, and the vice chair or the chair meet to compile the results.
So when do we need to meet to compile the results, Robin?
So before the 30th. So
Well, and I'm saying the 27th is not great. So do we want to compile the results like on Wednesday or Thursday? I'm fine to do that.
that's fine.
Okay.
It's up to your schedule. So
Okay. Well,
we
hopefully
can do it on the 26th. If you're leaving on the 27th, then we can do it like on the 26th, meet to do it then.
Okay. Okay. We don't need to know that before
Right.
tomorrow. So that sounds good. I'll talk to you when I see you tomorrow. We can finalize the details. Maybe I'll try and get there a little bit early. And then I can just put that apart because we never really announced that anyway. So, but just to give Dr. Rodriguez clarity, he'll probably.
We lost you. Say that again.
Yeah.
Get the book to us by the 23rd at the latest.
Yeah.
Because that would give people Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which we have to pick it up by Thursday. So, okay.
And then real quick question for my scheduling purposes on my end. And because I'm new, the October 30th meeting, how long do those typically run?
As long as you all talk.
About an hour to an hour and a half.
No, it's been longer than an hour because
it has been, yeah.
So what happens is that the board meets first and you go through you go through your evaluation and you all talk collectively, and then you call Dr. Rodriguez in to meet with him. So generally it's probably anywhere for about an hour to 2 hours, because the board would meet for the first hour and discuss it and come up with a consensus. And then you all call Dr. Rodriguez in and then you all meet with him.
Okay.
And Chloe's hands up.
Oh, Chloe, thank you. Ms. Gordon.
Hi, I've been listening. I just wanted to, I got on late because I didn't realize we had this meeting, so I apologize for that. And thank Molly for getting me on. I understand that we all have commitments, and I do understand the commitments of my colleagues, but I just want to make sure that we're not just circling around what one board member can or cannot do. And I'm not throwing shade. It's just that there are 11 of us, and we all have commitments and things that we want to do and timelines. But knowing that we have taken this job, this evaluation is very important, and I'm glad we're working out the time issues to meet with Dr. Rodriguez, but it's also important for him. So I want to just make sure that what we're doing is for the good of Dr. Rodriguez, as well as for the other 8 of us.
Yes, and Ms. Gordon, I think the big date we're setting right now is October 30th. That's what Dr. Rodriguez would like. That's Monday.
He said that's fine, but what I'm talking about is us meeting after 1:30 or so that our colleague can be there. Again, I'm saying we have other commitments, other people, and I know this is our time to meet, but I say whatever time that is good for this committee as a committee, and sometimes we just have to bite the bullet and do what we need to do, but not just for one person.
No,
and Elizabeth, I'm not throwing shade, but I'm just saying everything I'm hearing is, well, according to my schedule, let me look at my schedule. And if we all did that, we wouldn't be meeting. So I don't want to be one of those committees where I'm on a committee that is driven by what one board member can or cannot do. And that's what I'm hearing. And I don't like that. I want us to be together, because no one asked me if it's okay to do 1:30 so that you can participate. And I would say if I was asked, I'd say no, because we all make commitments. I'm making a commitment on the 30th. So let's do what we need to do as a committee and not based on what one person's agenda is. We all have agendas. So.
And I agree. I understand 100% what you're saying. I think also, though, the reason I was thinking, my thought was the 27th was convenient because we're going to be there anyways. But then there was some concern, and Robin said we've got a lot on the agenda setting.
A
And so
lot.
the question was, that's why I was like, okay, look, let's not fight the 27th. I felt, you know what I mean? Like, I felt like I was fighting the 27th. I see the convenience because we're going to have to come back. So we're going to have the all day meeting on the 27th. And then if we do his evaluation on the 30th, which is what he's asked us to do, then, you know, as far as like from a scheduling, have everything ready. If we do it on the 30th, it's just going to be another meeting. And it's going to be on its own, which I actually think is probably the right thing to do. I like the idea of adding it to the board work session because it doesn't require a separate meeting. It's so people are already gathered, but I think that's why we're going to move to the 30th. And then the question is, the part we have to backtrack is how long, the thing that's concerning for Dr. Rodriguez with the referendum and all he has gone with that is how long it will take him to prepare the book that we get. And it's a pretty comprehensive binder that he gets with all of his information. So I'm trying to figure out like, how far can I push that to make sure that he has time to do it and have time for us to review it. And then I need to meet with Robin and the chair to compile. So there's like 5 deadlines, but I think regardless of anyone's individual schedule, my sense on it is we were landing on the 30th because we didn't want to add it to the work session. If you feel differently, let me know, because we can have that discussion for sure.
No, I heard the discussion, and I'm all for the 30th, again, making sure that we do right by, you know, Dr. Rodriguez and not right by what we want based on our schedules, because, you know, we're all pretty busy people, all 11 of us, but we do have this commitment that we're elected to, and just making sure that we do the right thing for him.
No, and that's why once we kind of landed on the 30th, which is where there was a conflict, and I'll be honest, I'm not going to be at the work session for the entire time either. I was thinking, you know, and Robin's done this numerous times, Mr. Campbell's done this numerous times. If the 23rd gave us enough time, because I recall in the last previous 2 years, we've only had that book for a day or 2 or 3. I mean, it didn't seem like we had it for very long. Is that right, Robin?
Yeah, you had it at the most about 3 days.
So let me throw this timeline out in its entirety, and then I'll, you know, whoever wants to speak up can. Tell Dr. Rodriguez we need the book by the morning of the 23rd, and then you and Molly will have to distribute it.
Yes.
And then you and I and Molly and either Colonel Geyer or Tina Guads can meet to do the tabulation. And then we'll have our work session on the 27th. And then we'll plan to have a special called meeting on October 30th at 4 or 5 in the afternoon. So there's 3 dates in there: the date we get the book, the date we have to turn it back in and compile it, and the date we sit down and meet. So 23rd, 26th, 30th. Does that sound good to people?
Yes, for me.
Ms. Hay?
Yes, I had already agreed to all of that.
Perfect. All right. There's a lot of dates. And absolutely, we all have tight schedules. So Robin, will you tell Dr. Rodriguez that we'll need his book by the morning of the 23rd, and then you and I can get together with either Colonel Geyer or Chairman Guads and figure out a time on the 26th, or, you know, crack it down the 20, whatever they want to do. And then we will plan a specially called meeting. Does 4 o'clock sound right to everybody?
I'll
Yes,
check
that
with
would
him
be
with his schedule.
fantastic.
Okay.
It's the result committee still going to meet Friday, the 6th at 11?
I hope so, because what we need to do is talk about
What
we're
you're
trying to get
presenting at
meeting
the work
before
session.
the next board. Yeah.
Yeah.
What were we trying to do? We're trying to get something in to talk about what we're going to ask the board to do, so we can have guidance for the rest of this committee.
Yeah.
So that this will complete this year's evaluation process.
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to check on Dr. Rodriguez's schedule as to the time on the 30th, like 4 or 5?
Correct.
Okay.
His schedule as well as the board members, because generally we meet somewhere between 4:30 and 5 for its whole, because of board members who work. So
can you send out an email to the board and just say that we have picked the 30th as the date, and what time are they available?
I was going to ask you when you make your report tomorrow at the board meeting, if you can put that in there and say that we are, the time that you're looking at between 4 and 5. And if that's a problem, people need to email me so that we can, move it forward. Is that fine?
That sounds fine. Does that, anyone else have objections to that?
None. Good.
Not I.
All right. Okay, so that concludes the specially called results committee meeting. We are planning on meeting on October 6th to talk about the 2023-2024 evaluation process. But this will conclude our preparations for the 2022-2023 evaluation. Robin, if you'll just make those changes that we discussed, get rid of that 85%, the coronavirus thing there in red, and move out of instructional leadership down to student achievement, those categories.
Yep.
And then I'll make a pretty brief report on this at the next board meeting and announce the date of his evaluation as October 30th.
Got it.
All right. And I have to run to my next meeting, y'all. So I'm going, if no one objects, can we adjourn by unanimous consent?
Absolutely.
Have a
Perfect.
good
Thank you
one.
all for popping in for another meeting. See you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.